Hey everybody, welcome back. Markus Graves back again with another reaction to Game of Thrones Season 8, this time to Episode 2, no clue. It doesn't say anything except Game of Thrones 69. Okay, well, whatever this episode title is, let's get on into it. Oh, and I forgot to mention this last episode. Haven't seen the trailer for the season that came out, like, what, a few months ago. Haven't seen the previews. I prefer to go into these episodes knowing absolutely nothing.
Your Grace, I know my brother.
Like you knew your sister.
He came here.
Everything I did for my house and my family. I'd do it all again.
The things we do for love.
You would not be alive. He armored me, and sent me to find you and bring you home.
Yeah.
You vouch for him.
I was a fool.
Not for the first time. Cersei still sits on the throne.
This is different. This is death.
Not today.
I know death. He's got many faces. I look forward to seeing this one. My weapon.
I'll get right on it.
Not the death I would have chosen. I always pictured myself dying in my own bed, at the age of 80, with a belly full of wine and a girl's mouth around my cock.
Okay, Podrick. Okay, Podrick.
Men do stupid things for women. They're easily manipulated.
The Iron Throne. Taking it back from the people who destroyed my family and almost destroyed yours. My war was against them.
Technically, isn't your war with
Now
the Starks
I-
as well?
Half a world away. Fight.
We defeat the dead, we destroy Cersei. What happens then?
I take the Iron Throne.
And then...
What about the North? And we said we'd never bow to anyone else again. What about the North?
Apologies, my lady.
I want to fight for Winterfell, Lady Sansa. If you'll have me.
She sees what Sansa inspires.
I want to fight too.
I'm going to be in the crypt with my son, and I'd feel a lot better with you down there to protect us.
I'll defend the crypt then.
How long do we have? Before the sun comes up tomorrow.
Okay, that was one of my things about last...
Still here?
No. That was one of my things about last episode is the pacing of it, where it's like, if they're marching, they don't need to sleep. So why are they not? They're already at Winterfell, but...
Yes, he will. He'll come for me.
I took this castle from you. Let me defend you now.
Theon's about to die.
The dragon should give us an edge in the field.
Dragonfire will stop him.
I don't know. No one's ever tried.
Reassuring.
We're all going to die,
Yeah.
but at least we die together.
Tormund shooting his shot.
You're great.
Doesn't know what to say to her or how to interact. And with the knowledge he has now.
You need help.
Hello.
Oh, well, hello to you too.
Which begins.
Is it me, or does Ghost not look as big as he was / is supposed to?
Everyone seems to forget that I was the first man to kill a White Walker. I've killed Fens.
Fen.
I've saved Billy more than once. I stole...
It could be our last night in this world, you know?
Oh my gosh, Tormund.
Yes, well, I'm glad you're here.
They call you King Killer.
I'm sure someone does.
They call me Giant's Bane. I killed the giant when I was 10. Then I climbed right into bed with his wife. Suckled me at her teeth for 3 months. Thought I was a baby. That's how I got so strong.
the fuck is happening?
Drink.
The hell is going on?
This is his moment. When light...
Taurus isn't here anymore, so I hope you're not about to give a sermon. Because if you are, the Lord of Light's gonna wonder why he brought you back 19 times just to watch you die when I chuck you over this fucking wall.
Was that your first time?
Yeah, I'd never had leeches put all over
Your
my
first time?
What?
Were you with other girls? Before that in King's Landing?
Mighty curious, milady.
You don't remember? We're probably going to die soon.
Well, damn, Arya. This is so weird. Goddamn, Maisie. I'm gonna take a break for a second, y'all. I'll be back.
Most everyone here's fuck. I'll be in my bunk. I'm no king, but if I were, I'd knight you 10 times over.
You don't need a king. Kneel, Lady Brienne. Do you want to be a knight or not?
Go on.
Kneel.
If anyone deserves it.
Arise, Brienne of Tarth, a knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
This goofy ass.
It's all right. We're done here.
Whew. But I feel like they are going to kill Lady Lyanna. Whoa, little Sam got big. How long has it fucking been?
So the last thing she did was give the boy to her brother.
Wow, so we're doing this, huh?
If it were true, it would make you the last male heir of House Targaryen.
Not to mention that you fucked your nephew, but okay. But of course, this would be her main priority. One more. 3. Are those all... Oh, woo, Craster's sons. This episode heavily conveyed character development contrasts. And what I mean when I say that is, last episode was built around reintroduction. This episode is built around discovering character shifts. Characters discovering other character shifts. Such as Jaime. I'm not the same man that I was before. Conveying where he came from to where he is now. Arya with the Hound. I never used to be able to get you to shut up. Now you're sitting here like a mute. Tyrion going from being, you know, a promiscuous, calculating and intelligent, still calculating and intelligent, but, you know, had his indulgences and his promiscuity, and becoming now somebody who doesn't shun them, but life and pain and Shay has really switched, or at least nuanced his outlook on things. The character shifts of Theon, and these are things that we have all seen, but the characters within the world have not. And this episode centered around the characters discovering that, because they constantly in a dialogue make mention, Theon in this example, I took this from you. Let me protect you now. I used to never be able to get you to shut up. Now you're like a mute. We used to be here, you were the golden lion, and now you're this. Say, you used to be here, and you were the whoremonger and everything, and now you're this. To basically recap before we finally get into the battle of the living and the dead. Now, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of people talk about the pacing online. I've seen people talk about the very rapid character interactions. Not so much rapid in time, but rapid in hit this point, hit this point, hit this point, hit this point, go. Hit this point, hit this point, hit this point, hit this point, go. That can't be denied. Are there pacing issues with this? Yes. I mentioned one being the coming of the dead. If they broke through the wall and they're on their way to Winterfell, when they do not need sleep and they do not need to eat, therefore they do not need to stop, why have they already not run through Winterfell already? What happened to time in Westeros? Granted, because it was a caravan and they had to eat and therefore they had to stop sometimes and sleep. It took them a month to get from Winterfell to King's Landing. Dragonstone is near King's Landing, give or take. It's close. And Dany was able to get past Winterfell, past the wall to Eastwatch by the Sea in the span of 2 hours. I don't care if it's a fucking dragon or not. 2 hours. So these pacing issues were already established in season 7. Unfortunately, what you have now in season 8 is having to truncate a whole lot of stuff because you've already set yourself down the path of, hey, pacing be damned. So is it any surprise that season 8 is going to have suffer from those same things because you're here now? You gotta do it. You're here. And not only that, you've also truncated the season. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, you have to do this when you truncate the season. Let me just say one thing. HBO has had only one, well, they've had some series that are, they're pretty decent, but they've had one big critical thing, Sopranos. The next one that came after it, Game of Thrones. Do you really think that they wanted to shorten last season or this season and miss out on the money that they could be making? They making bank. You really think that they want? No, that's not their call. That's a Benioff and Weiss call. I have my speculations as to why. Could be wrong. Could be right. Don't know. Either way, we don't know. What I'm saying is you have story here that you did not need to truncate these last 2 seasons, but you did, and because you did, we're here now. Doesn't stop it from being a limitation, but it's a limitation that's predicated on its predecessor. Therefore, we get this whole thing of like greatest hits of dialogue. Want to be in bed around 80 with a woman's mouth around my cock, all that stuff. While amusing and while fun, in terms of story crafting, is shorthand. Quick way to get the characters through the dialogue, show how they've changed, keep on moving. Because we got to get to the living and the dead. And not only do we have to get to the living and the dead, we got to get to whatever's happening past the living and the dead, because we're only on episode 2. The battle seems to apparently be taking place by episode 3. So unless we have a three episode battle, which is possible, where are we going with this story, with this season? What is the end? No pun intended, giving the film that's about to come out now, or very soon. What's the end game here? Is it the living and the dead? Or, as has been speculated by myself and by others from last episode, is it Daenerys versus Jon? And you know what, to be honest, because of the way you've set things up now, neither one is going to truly have a developed conclusion. Or at least a dynamically paced development and dynamically paced conclusion. Because look at it this way. The battle is most likely taking place next week. So here's your scenarios. You have the battle between the living and the dead, which has been the story that has been looming over everybody every season up until this point. Therefore, putting narrative weight on this as the final conclusion. If you end it next week or the week after and have the episodes basically be aftermath, narratively you have a bit of an imbalance in the scale. Narrative weight being put here, however, conclusion being all the way up here. But look on the opposite end. If Jon and Daenerys isn't the end game, in the aftermath of who gets the throne and everything like that, isn't the end game, why are you putting this here? Because then, once again, the narrative weight is on the living and the dead. So, narratively speaking, this is not the conclusion. So, is it not extraneous? I don't know. It's very odd. As I said, and you guys have seen my reaction. If you've gotten to this point, you've seen my reaction. These things are certainly amusing and enjoyable from a very responsive, what I like, what I don't like type area. From a filmmaking, story crafting standpoint, though, more observation is necessary. However, right now it seems that they may be writing themselves into a wall, into a dead end, where no matter which conclusion you give it, something is narratively being disserviced. We'll see how the 6 episodes this season, right? We'll see how the next 4 pan out. But it's a question in my mind that's of an atmosphere that's looming over the final season here. Once again, from a story crafting standpoint, like I said, responsibly, yes, these things are enjoyable. I'm laughing, I'm smiling. Brienne being knighted, certainly a great moment. Just because one is amused or likes something does not necessarily mean that it is dynamic or strong filmmaking or story crafting or storytelling. And vice versa. Just because somebody doesn't mean that it's limited or weak storytelling, story crafting, so on and so forth. Because then, what the fuck is going on with Cersei? She's bought the Golden Company. They're down in King's Landing. Are they going to lose Winterfell and then retreat to King's Landing? And the Golden Companies, they're going to have to fight the Whites and then the White Walkers and everything, which is possible. But then if they lose Winterfell and they lose most of their army, with dragons, by the way, 2 of them against their brother. Let's say we don't lose any of the living dragons. If they lost the first time, what makes them think they'll win now with most of their army now fighting with the Night King? This whole little last segment that I'm doing right now is not to dog it. It's just trying to figure out where are we going. I don't know. I really didn't expect the review part of this section to go down this route. But hey, we're here. We're at where we're at. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're so inclined. Check out my channel for all my other content that I have on there, my short film yin and yang, reactions, breakdowns, all that good stuff that's on there. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.